Hello everyone and welcome back to my Bold and Beautiful 29 YouTube channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Luna has set up a new home and job thanks to her grandma Sheila. The youthful woman is proving to be a chip off the old block. This week, Luna gets back to her designing ways by cozying up to Will. When Will stops by to Giardino, Luna starts drooling with him. Luna says that his family has been so kind to her and she's like to repay. Will's pater was formerly taken in by Luna's charm. Will he be too? Last week, the Forresters officially took back control of their company. Steffi's first order of business was to fire Hope. Still, she gave Carter an alternate chance by allowing him to stay with Forrester Creations. Hope made it clear she and Carter are a platoon, and she expects him to leave with her. A equivocal Carter will be forced to make a delicate decision, one he hopes he does at remorse. Latterly Steffi meets with Daphne. Their plan went off without a hitch now that Carter's returned FC to Steffi's family. Still, Daphne expresses solicitude that Carter will find out about their plan. A suspicious Steffi asks if Daphne has fallen in love with Carter. Will Daphne confirm or deny Steffi's reservations? Brook has always been Hope's biggest supporter. But she's eventually reached her limit with her son. In a surprising move, Brook gives Hope a cure of tough love. She tells her son she needs to take responsibility for her conduct. Brook also adds further swab to the crack by saying she has no sympathy for Hope. Poppy put Luna on blast, Steffi rocked Hope's world and so much more. The Forresters gathered at the main office to bandy their plans now that they had recaptured control of the company. The focus was primarily on Carter, who was considered a snake by some of the family members. Steffi was particularly unsupportive of keeping him around, believing that his treason shouldn't be overlooked. Still, a meeting was held to determine the coming way. In the design room, Carter was surprised when Hope showed up for work. She brazened him angrily about the deal he made, criminating him of ruining their chance for power. Carter, along with Brook, tried to reason with her, but Hope was induced. She felt that Steffi would no way allow the deal to stand, especially after everything that had occurred. During the meeting, Steffi took charge and made the final opinions. Although she'd have preferred to see the serpents removed entirely, she had to be realistic. Carter was allowed to keep his job as susurrus and continue his work as FC's legal counsel. Brook was also permitted to stay, though she was stripped of the CEO title, which was reserved for a Forrester. Hope, still, wasn't so fortunate. Steffi made it clear that Hope was no longer welcome, citing the damage she had done to the hope for the unborn line. Despite Hope's demurs and support from Carter and Brook, Steffi remained firm in her decision. As pressures escalated, Hope demanded that Carter leave with her, but he didn't move, motioning the depth of the rift between them. Meanwhile, in the staging area, Daphne and Zend bandied the changing dynamics at Forrester Creations. They suspected about the outgrowth of the meeting, with Daphne Rose prognosticating that Hope would be ousted. She also jokingly conceded that her growing closeness with Carter might complicate effects for Zend, who led the design platoon for Hope's line. Luna revealed to Sheila that she was her granddaughter and had nowhere differently to go. At first, Sheila didn't believe Luna and laughed at her, demanding that she leave. Still, Luna persisted and revealed that she was Finn's son, explaining how he had tested both Tom Star and Jack, only to discover that neither was her father. Finn had also tested himself doubly, attesting that Luna was indeed his child. Everything fell into place for Sheila when Luna mentioned that Steffi had banned her from Finn's life. Upon hearing this, Sheila's address changed fully. She seized Luna, kissed her on the lips, and embraced her warmly. Meanwhile, Carter tried to break some delicate news to Hope at the cabin. He told her that he'd made a decision and hoped she'd understand. He admitted that he'd been floundering with guilt ever since the achievement, feeling as though he'd lowered Eric, his stylish friend, his legal pledge, and himself. When Hope tried to punctuate his success and how far he'd taken the company, Carter revealed that he'd torn up the LLC papers and returned the company to its due proprietor. Hope was furious, condemning him for caving under pressure and ruining everything they had worked for. She reminded him of all she had offered for him and how she had stood by his side. In her emotional outburst, she said she loved him rather of loves, a slip Carter didn't miss. Despite Carter's attempt to assure her that her fashion line was safe, he admitted he hadn't gotten it in jotting, which only fueled Hope's wrathfulness further. At Forrester Creations, the family celebrated recovering control of the company and Carter's return. Still, Steffi was reluctant to forgive him so fluently, noting that while Hope had been the architect, Carter had allowed her to manipulate him and ruin his character. Ridge also remained conservative, believing Carter had a lot to prove. The coming challenge was deciding what to do with the current staff, particularly Brook's part as CEO and whether Hope should be allowed to stay. Steffi wanted Hope out incontinently, but the final decision was still over in the air. Poppy admitted to Luna that she had always known the verity about Luna's maternity, but chose not to tell anyone to avoid facing the consequences. She claimed she didn't want to hurt anyone, but Luna saw through the taradiddle. Latterly, when Luna asked her mama for a fresh launch, promising to change, Poppy shocked her by disowning her and telling her to leave city. Poppy's rejection was harsh, indeed pushing Luna out in a surprising moment of motherly wrathfulness. Meanwhile, Sheila was feeling disconnected from her family and endured for a relationship with her children and grandchildren. Her want suddenly came true when Luna arrived at the eatery, seeking help. Luna explained that she had been abandoned and demanded Sheila's support. Sheila, originally ready to call the police, dithered, seeing an occasion to offer the support Luna desperately wanted. Over at the office, Ridge and Eric praised for making effects right. They were glad to have him back, but they bothered about how would reply. Hope, determined to fight for Carter's love, set up a romantic evening, but effects didn't go as planned. Carter showed up and within twinkles, Hope knew she lost control of the achievement. At the same time, Daphne commended Steffi about her passions for Carter, revealing how Hope's conduct had told her decision to stay in city. When Ridge and Eric arrived with good news, it was clear that Daphne Rose's influence had played a significant part in Carter's future, leaving Hope's control slipping down. It's time for Hope to move on from Forrester Creations. She'll no way be happy there. However, Steffi did her a favor, if anything. The longer she stays at FC, the more miserable she'll be. There's plenitude of stopgap in her future if she opens up to new openings. As we know, Hope's personality changed dramatically after her relationship with Thomas ended. She suddenly had an unforeseen appetite for vengeance. Hope wanted to stick it to Steffi for intruding with her relationship, which is why she drunkenly kissed Finn. Hope subconsciously wanted to destroy Steffi's marriage. But since it exploded back in her face, she had to come up with a different trick. That's when she got involved with Carter. Their relationship was driven out of lust and malignancy. Hope encouraged him to steal FC down from the Forresters. Hope wanted the power that Steffi had. She wanted to step in her shoes for change. But those were tough shoes to fill. Now, she's finding herself without a job formally again. Or, perhaps Hope should leave fashion altogether. She could work as an event diary for Il Giardino. Cleric would be pleased to hire his son. Either, two of his co-workers were boggled, and his establishment has been tainted by bad news. Il Giardino could use a revamp. Perhaps Hope could turn her father's business around. The possibilities are wide open for Hope. She just needs to wake up and realize that FC is no longer good for her or her psyche. The Forresters got the company back. Hope is outraged about Steffi's decision to fire her. But she should be thanking her. The longer Hope remains there, the unhappier she should be. It doesn't make sense for Hope to stay with a company that she claims is poisonous. It hasn't done her any good. She ended up in a downcast curl because of her preoccupation with all effects Forrester. Hope needs to part herself from the family. The Logans ended up as their punching bags. Hope and her mama, Brook, should leave together and start their own company. They could indeed move Katie and Ivy to leave FC as well. This would be a great way to stick it to the Forresters. There's also the possibility of Hope working at Spencer Publications. Perhaps she'd eventually see the light and bring some fashion to Bill's company. This would also be a way for Hope and Liam to reconnect. Liam would be thrilled to work with her. It's been a while since he's had a woman in his route.